on digital radio, on the app, on your smartphone, on X, YouTube, and Facebook. The Sportscast. Basketball in March.
The Donut Bag presented by the Sportscast.
The Donut Bag, hosted by Joey Toscano. And here's your host, Joey Toscano.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Donut Bag podcast, part of the Sportscast Network. Welcome to everybody joining us live. I already see people joining us live. Hello. If you want to join in on the conversation, join us on the YouTube channel. And while you're there, please like and subscribe. I'm flying solo again. Not happy about it. I hate doing these solo. I hate monologues. I can't work alone. I need people. So not only am I asking you to join in on the conversation by commenting on YouTube, and I think you could comment on Twitter too. I'm not sure if you can do it. I think I've seen people do it. I'm not sure, but if you want to not only join in the conversation, you just want to join me, you could be my co-host tonight. Let's talk. If you're a Steelers fan and you want to talk Steelers, message me, throw a comment, whatever. Let's talk, because I hate doing these alone. I hate it. I'm starting to take this personal. I'm starting to think nobody wants to talk to me. I don't know. Anyway, welcome. We got a lot to talk about. Let's start with the never-ending story of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers still has not signed with the Steelers. What's going on? Why is this taking so long? So what's going on? Well, the draft is next week. So my theory, I've three possible scenarios here. One is he's waiting for right before the draft. Because I think he did this when he signed on with the Jets. I think when that whole trade happened and whatever, when Green Bay traded him to the Jets, it all happened right around the draft. So it makes sense. You know, there's not a lot going on with the NFL right now. Everybody's just doing their draft prep. And you when all the attention on the NFL is going to be next week when there's the draft. So when all the attention's going on, when everybody's focused on the NFL, that's when he's going to make his announcement. Maybe. The other scenario is he's going to wait till after the draft. Why would he wait till after the draft? Well, he doesn't want to get what I call panicked. He doesn't want to have to happen what happened to Kirk Cousins last year, where Kirk Cousins signs with the Falcons, and then in the draft they draft Michael Penix, which basically kicks Kirk Cousins out. So Aaron Rodgers doesn't want that to happen again. He doesn't want the Steelers to draft somebody in the first round and then that'll be the dude. And you think, well, even if Aaron Rodgers does sign and they sign a quarterback in the first round, don't you think Aaron Rodgers would still be the dude? Not so fast. Not necessarily. What if that scenario happens? What if Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers and then they draft a quarterback like, let's say, Shedeur Sanders or what's his face? Jackson Dart or something like that. And Aaron Rodgers is a starter, but then he struggles. And, you know, they go off to a slow start. Don't you think at some point the Steelers would bench Aaron Rodgers and just say, okay, we're going with the rookie. Sorry, this didn't work out. Because they have no allegiance to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is only here for 1 year anyway. So, you know, it's not like they owe anything to him. So whatever. The third scenario is he's not waiting to sign with the Steelers at all. And he's waiting to sign with the Vikings or just hang out until the summer, until some quarterback gets hurt, and then he could step in. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe he'll sign with the Saints. The Saints supposedly are losing Derek Carr, or they want to drop him, or I don't know what's going on there. Supposedly his shoulder hurts, but that sounds like a kind of a phantom injury kind of thing. So Who knows? So maybe Aaron Rodgers is just waiting till after the draft, or maybe he just doesn't want to be a Steeler. I don't know. I keep hearing these rumors that Aaron Rodgers still wants to be with the Vikings, which, hey, I don't blame him. Justin Jefferson is the best quarterback on the planet. You have an excellent offense there, and you have an offensive genius in what's his face? O'Connell is his name. It's a perfect situation for a quarterback. Of course, you would want to go there, but they don't want him. If they wanted him, they probably would have had him already. So they're going to stick it out with JJ McCarthy. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know. It's either the way that the Steelers are acting, they already have a deal in place. They already have a deal, and maybe they're just waiting. So if they're not bothered by it, I guess we shouldn't be bothered by it. But if he decides to go with Minnesota or something like that, oh boy, then we have to deal with. There's no way they could just deal with Mason. They got to draft a quarterback. When are they going to draft their quarterback? Probably early, which is scary. I don't know. That's a scary situation. Speaking of quarterbacks, the scuttlebutt lately is that Mike Tomlin is in love with Shedeur Sanders. Oh, just loves him to death. Now, just keep in mind, this time of the year in draft season is known as lying season. This is where you just throw a bunch of stuff out there to throw off the scent of everybody. They brought in Shedeur Sanders for a visit, which was just very interesting because the Steelers draft right now, they're 21st. So, or is it possible Shedeur Sanders could drop to 21? Actually, yeah. We've talked about this before. It's very possible because you figure the Titans at 1 are taking Cam Ward. Then you have the Browns and the Giants. The Browns could take him, or they could take either Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. Same with the Giants. So and if the Browns and the Giants don't want him, the next place he could go is the Saints. And the Saints really need a quarterback right now because apparently they basically have nobody now. So it's very possible he could go at 9 to the Saints. But if he doesn't go at 9 to the Saints, he could fall for a while. And so if Shedeur Sanders is there at 21, will the Steelers take him? God, I hope not. God, I don't want this. To me, this is Kenny Pickett all over again. My goodness, we just went through this. It's almost the exact same scenario. A scenario where, this quarterback might go sooner. Oh, but he falls to us. Well, we'll take him. Well, why do you think he fell to you? Why do you think Kenny Pickett fell to you, Steelers? Do you think it's because you're just such geniuses and everybody else is idiots? No, it's because all the other teams didn't want him. Same thing with here. Same thing. If teams wanted Sanders so bad, they'll take him early. If they think he's not good enough, they'll let him go and wait till somebody else gets him. Now, it's very possible that if he does slide past 9 and keeps on sliding, I could see a team like the Giants or the Browns trading back up into the first round to grab him. I could totally see that scenario. I could totally see the Browns doing something like that. So, okay, fine. But to me, this is just Kenny Pickett 2.0. This is just the same thing. And nothing against Kenny Pickett. I don't hate the dude. I hate how it ended. In fact, I love him. I have his jersey somewhere. I'm a Pitt fan. I love what he did for Pitt. But the way he ended things with the Steelers just left a really bad taste in my mouth. The way he basically refused to have a competition and acted like an entitled brat because they dared want to bring somebody else in to compete with him. That's ridiculous. And so what happens? He gets traded to Philadelphia, where he has zero chance of playing. And he did. He played like 1 or 2 games and in the one game, the ball threw him somehow. I've never seen if you see that. It's just like the weirdest play ever. And now he's traded to the Browns. And I just saw something where he said, I expect to be a starter for the Browns. Bro, I got news for you. Until you ball out, you're going to be a backup for the rest of your career. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being a backup quarterback. But don't you got delusions of grandeur there, buddy. If I were to guess what happened with Kenny Pickett, I think he got too scared of getting hurt. Like, I think if he got a few too many injuries, he got too scared of getting hurt. And when the pass rush would be coming at him, he would be scared and he didn't know how to get away from it. He would do the thing, at least with the Steelers, where he would do the old spin-a-rooney into the waiting arms of a defensive lineman move every single time. Like, buddy, haven't you figured out that's not working? Like, you're going to face pressure. Every quarterback faces pressure in the pocket. You got to learn to deal with it. And he just didn't. I don't know if he got better with the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles were basically a damn all-star team. So yeah, he looked good at times, except for that one play where the ball threw him. But anyway, but so we'll see. Maybe he could correct that. Maybe but I hope that he is a starter. I hope that Kenny Pickett gets to play the Steelers twice a year. That would be the funniest thing ever. That would be, oh my goodness, that would be just the most awesome thing ever. So I'm just not a fan of Shedeur Sanders. I think he's just all hype, and I also think that a lot of what he does in college does not translate to the NFL. It's just, hey, maybe it'll work. Maybe I think he said I heard he patterns his game after Tom Brady or something like that. Maybe he could be the next Tom Brady. I don't know, but I don't know. I just have a bad feeling. I just have a feeling that he is regarded so highly just because of hype, just because of his dad and everything about Deion Sanders in that hype machine in Colorado. So we'll see. So what is going to happen in the draft? Most likely, if I were to guess, I would say there's a 75% chance that it'll be one of three players. And it'll be a defensive lineman. It's either Harmon from Oregon, Kenneth Grant from Michigan, or Nolan from, I believe, Ole Miss. It's probably going to be one of those three people. And then what happens now? There's the issue of the second round draft pick. Right now, they do not have a second round draft pick, and I think they really, really want one. So what do? I think they trade back. I think they trade back in the first round and can still get their defensive lineman, one of those three guys. With what they trade back, they'll probably get like a third or fourth rounder or something like that. They could use that plus some other things, like, picks in the future, picks, next year, because they have a ton of picks next year, to move up in the to get a second round draft pick this year. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't know, but I haven't seen the Steelers trade back in a long time, so maybe that won't happen. I don't know. I think there's just a lot of uncertainty with this entire draft, so we'll see how it goes. Reminder, if you want to join in on the conversation, you can either comment from the YouTube channel. YouTube, it's Joey Bag of Donuts, V instead of an F. And hey, if you want to just join in, if you want to talk, I'll throw you on here. I'll send you the link. That's because I hate doing these by myself. The only other issue is the TJ Watt contract. So TJ Watt put up a message or put up an Instagram post where he just does peace, and people went bonkers. Like, oh my God, what does this mean? What does this mean? Like, who cares? I hate anything related to an athlete in social media. I hate when there's a story that says, oh, this player doesn't follow the team anymore, or this player puts up a cryptic social media post. Who cares? It's social media. No, but most of it is not real, folks. I'm not actually a bag of donuts, but believe it or not, that might be a shocking revelation for you. This stuff is just so it's always blown out of proportion. Now, TJ Watt reportedly wants more than what Myles Garrett is making. Okay, fine. Myles Garrett is making, I believe, $40 million a year or something like that. And there was a report this week that the Browns really screwed people over, really screwed over the NFL yet again, because they screwed over the NFL with a Deshaun Watson contract where they made the entire thing guaranteed. How'd that work out for you? Idiots. Browns are the dumbest organization. My goodness. I'm Browns fans. I feel so bad for you. But now with the Myles Garrett contract, they also set a precedent because the previous highest paid defensive player was I believe Bosa in San Francisco, and he was making $35 million a year, and the Browns bumped that all the way up to $40 million. So now TJ Watt wants more than Myles Garrett, and people are saying, oh, you can't do that. Folks, it's going to happen. I've heard of, well, what happens if there's a trade? There's not going to be a trade. Who's going to trade for him? Just think about this. Who is going to trade for TJ Watt? If you trade for TJ Watt, first of all, you would have to send at least a first round pick, probably multiple picks to the Steelers. But then you would have to sign him. And guess what you're going to have to sign him for? $40 million a year, at least. Who has that kind of money laying around? Who has that kind of cap space, especially right now? Everybody already used up most of their cap space. So it's not going to happen. There's not going to be a trade. This contract is going to get done. And to me, this is such a non-issue, because all you need to do is just play with the numbers. Salary cap, they say the salary cap is a myth. Well, it's not a myth, but you could play with the numbers. You could, what was, I don't know what Myles Garrett's, how long the deal is. I know it was 40 million a year, but let's say it's, 4 years, 160 million or something like that. So you make it 4 years, 161 million or $161 or something like that. And all you do is just, NFL contracts are a joke. Okay, so Garrett agreed to a new deal worth $40 million a year, over $88 million in new guaranteed money to stay with the Browns through 2030. So what is that, a 5-year deal? Okay, so 5-year, $200 million. So you just make a 5-year, $200 million in $1, and just tack on voidable years, or tack on what is at the end of the contract, make one of the years like 60 million or something like that. And at the end of the contract, you say, yo, man, we're not paying you that. We're just going to, it's not guaranteed. So we're not going to pay you that. So we're either going to cut you or renegotiate or something like that. There's all kinds of ways this is going to get done. And most likely it's probably going to get done. It's probably going to be the same exact thing of when he held out, when he had a contract negotiation a few years ago. he's going to quote unquote hold in and not do anything in training camp and the preseason, and then a couple days before the season, and then we're going to talk about it throughout the whole entire preseason, and then a couple days before the season starts, he's going to sign the contract, and that's it. This is exactly what's going to happen. It's just such a non-story. I did like when it happened last time, that he had the contract negotiation. One of the NFL insiders, I think it was Adam Schefter, or no, it was Rappaport, put out a tweet that said, TJ Watt's agents didn't want him to sign the latest offer from the Steelers, but he went against them and he just walked into the Steelers office, signed the contract, and then went out for a workout or something like that. So how's this work? Because I mean, it's just such BS. When these insiders make posts, just remember these insiders are basically just a mouthpiece for either the player or the agent or the management or something like that. They're just a, they're just putting out what that agent or the team wants them to put out. It's such a joke. Do you really think TJ Watt just like fought an army of the agent's minions so it's like no, I must fight you, I must give the team a favorable contract because of the play for the love of the team and the love of Pittsburgh, that's why I must do. Like, come on, man, come on. It's just such stupidity. Anyway, that's I got a comment. So Kevin says TJ contract will be done, and in making him higher paid than Miles, Steelers address our cash underspending issues from last year. Were there cash underspending issues from last year? I don't remember. I know that if you don't spend up to the cap in 1 year, you could carry over those savings to the next year. I don't remember them being that much. I mean, I think generally every year they try to be like 10 million up to the cap or something like that. They try to spend, they don't go right up to the cap, because then, if somebody gets hurt, they would be screwed or something like that. So they try to go they try to leave a little bit of money for under the cap. Another thing you have to consider when people say, well, 40 million is too much money. First of all, Kevin says we were at 80% cash last year, need to be at 90% over 3. Okay, I don't know exactly what that means. If you think they're near the floor, I know they're nowhere near the salary floor, but I also know that there's salary cap money and then actually cash money spent. So I don't know if that's what you're referring to, and I don't know those rules. The salary cap is just really weird. But yeah, I think generally the Steelers are kind of at the low end of the league in terms of cash money spent. And the cash money spent is the actual money spent in salaries and stuff, not the salary cap. The salary cap has all kinds of dead money and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what those numbers are and how that works. Okay. Kevin, I didn't know that. I didn't know that you had to spend 80% of cash money. Interesting. But one thing you have to consider when people say, oh, TJ Watt, that's, you can't pay him that much. 40 million is too much. What do the salary cap has gone up so much in the past few years. So, you don't look at the salary cap as what the heck was I was going to say? You don't look at the salary cap. You don't look at the money. You look at the percentage of the total cap. So right now, it looks like the cap is 279 million. In 2024, it was 255 million. In 2023, it was 224 million. In 2022, it was 208 million. In 3 years. It's gone up $70 million. That's outrageous. In 2015, it was 143 million. It's doubled. The salary cap has doubled in the last 10 years, people. Okay, so if you sign TJ Watt 40 million contract, what is that as a percentage of the cap? What 10, not even 15%, something like that. So that's about in line with what I believe Myles Garrett and TJ Watt were making last time. I think they were making around 15% of the cap. So, folks, all of the salaries are going to go up. All the salaries are going to go outrageously high. So the 40 million you spend on TJ Watt, believe it or not, in a few years might be a bargain. Because I mean, if it goes up like 20, 30 million every year, think about I mean, it's just outrageous. It's just outrageous. The NFL is just so successful right now. So it it's not great. And you might say, why do you want to pay him? We haven't won anything with him. Like, okay. Let me ask you this. Is TJ Watt going to make the Hall of Fame? You're darn right. Hi, Becky. Let me show Becky's thing. Hey, Donut. Love from the Browns. Hi, Becky. Hi, Browns fans. I have respect. I have so much respect for Browns fans, and you do not deserve that team. Pirates fans and Browns fans have something similar. They're being screwed by their owner. Now, I think the Browns can actually get out of the crappy situation they're in if they have a really good draft. If you get Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, either way, I think you're going to you're going to come out ahead. And I think they're going to figure out a way to get their quarterback too. So you do that, you get a strong defensive player and your quarterback of the future. Hey, you're right back on track to being a good team again. You get away from the hell of that Deshaun Watson disaster. So good luck, Browns fans. Just whatever you do not draft Shedeur Sanders at the beginning of the draft. Do not do that. Hunter is a dual player, and not only is he a dual player, but from what I understand, he is one of the best cornerback prospects in a long time and one of the best wide receiver prospects. And he just said today, hey, if you don't play me both ways, if you don't play me on offense and defense, then forget about it. I'll just retire, which is a joke. But still, he wants to play both sides of the ball. Freaking let him. You basically have two players for two players for the price of one. And now, what happens? Let's say he does become a breakout star and he becomes an awesome quarterback and an awesome wide receiver. What the heck do you do when when his rookie contract is up? I don't know. I mean, that's 4 or 5 years down the line. But it's like, what do you do if he's really good at two positions? I don't know. What does Becky say? She's sending me from videos. The Snow Bowl was one of the prettiest games I've ever seen last year. And yes, the Steelers lost, but that was such a fun game. It was just so pretty. And the thought that the Browns, I don't know if this is true or not. I think it is true that they're going to build a dome stadium and take away that element that just makes me sick. makes me sick. Because it was just so pretty. It was just so pretty. Football is meant to be played in the snow, okay, not in a dome, and I just can't believe that. What's this? It was you were at that game. That's really cool. That's really cool. Um, that had to be a lot of fun. Um, the Steelers will look back and say, "Wow, remember 2024 when we had Rawlson?" And they'll probably look back, like years from now and say, "Remember that whole Aaron Rodgers thing? What the heck was going on with that? That was a weird time." Well, I think the Browns will say, "Remember that year we had Jameis Winston? The guy is like could be an awesome quarterback, but at the same time throw ridiculous interceptions, and he's both." And it was just so funny. So the dome is happening. That's sad. You were up for 15 hours of tailgating and then went to the game. Oh my goodness. I don't know what the tailgating is like in Cleveland. I know what it's like in Pittsburgh. It is the tailgating is it's a sacred thing. You do not, the tailgating is almost more important than the game. So you hang out with people. It's a party. Some people at their tailgates, they bring like better food than you could see at a restaurant. It's amazing. Tailgates are so much fun. But yeah, it makes me sad that they're going to have a dome. I mean, I get it. Almost every single time the Steelers played the Browns in Cleveland, like later in the year, it wasn't a pretty snow thing. It was a ridiculously cold, windy mess. But that's football. That's football. It's going to bring a lot of jobs in the area. Yeah, it's I mean, and the nice thing is, when there are times that the weather gets too bad, whether it's like a blizzard or something like that. I know some games in Buffalo have had to the weather was too bad and they couldn't have the game in Buffalo, so they had to play it, or they thought about playing it in Detroit because Detroit had the dome. So now that Cleveland is going to have a dome, it would make more sense just to move games to Cleveland or something like that. I don't know. I mean, it does bring a lot of possibilities when you do have a dome. Now, there's a possibility maybe Cleveland could host a Super Bowl sometime. That would be cool. Cleveland's an awesome town. It's just a really cool town. What they have downtown with the baseball stadium and the whole area around there. Yeah. Now, I think, I'm not sure where they're moving the dome. The dome is not going to be like in downtown. I think it's going to be a little bit south or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't know how that's all going to work, but yeah, I got nothing against Cleveland. Anytime I go there, it's fun. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a lot of fun. Gets a little too crowded. I don't like it too crowded, but yeah, I got nothing against Cleveland. Always have a good time going in there. But yeah, the Browns can actually, if they're smart, they'll do the right thing and get either Travis. It'll be 15, 20 minutes away from downtown. Okay. So hopefully the traffic won't be too bad. But yeah, if the Browns can if they get Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, can you imagine Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter on the same defense? That'll be one of the best front sevens in the game. And I don't care who the quarterback is, your defense is going to have a huge advantage. So that'll be amazing. Now, the Steelers, they need to get their defensive linemen. They need to get one of those three guys that I mentioned. They have to. If you don't, we're screwed. Everything is pointed. The Steelers have basically done nothing with regards to the defensive line this year. So I don't think they're going to just take one player in the draft for the defensive line. I think they're going to get 2. I think it'll go defensive line in the first round. If they don't get a second rounder, they'll go probably running back in the third round. Then your prod quarterback in the fourth round or something like that. Because keep in mind, last year they got Troy Fautanu, who basically did nothing because he got hurt, and you got Roman Wilson, who basically did nothing because he got hurt. So it's kind of like getting 2 extra, rookies this year, 2 extra players that you didn't have last year. So that'll be good. What is the news with Watts? I've heard talks aren't going well. Yeah, what's happening is talks might not be going well, but that's just how it is. He's going to get the deal's going to get done, and it's just going to sound ugly for up until like a week before the season starts, and then they'll all live happily ever after. Yeah, I mean, the deal's going to get done. I don't know why they just do this every single time. And honestly, I think that's for the best. I think when he does his hold in, I think that's a good thing, because the year that he did his hold in, I think he had one of his best years. I think it was 2021 or something like that, because I think the Steelers like to pride themselves on, oh, we have such a hard training camp. Oh, we really hit each other. It's like, yeah, what good does that get you? What good does that get you? Yeah, money, money, money. What good does that get you that you hit each other so hard and you're so physical in training camp? Does that help you during the season? No, it doesn't. All it does is makes you look what happened last year. Look what happened at the end of last year. They were tired, they were beat up, they just gave up. And I think it's because they were going so hard in training camp, among other reasons. I mean, the offense fell apart, and the defense got too gassed. That had a lot to do with it too. But still, here's an idea. Maybe take it a little bit easier, at least for the veterans. And I know the veterans have days off and stuff like that. I know they're already sort of taking it easy, but maybe take it a little more easy. This hold in where he still works out, but he doesn't go as hard. I think that keeps him fresh for the season. I don't know. The hard part of the training camp is with all the hills. Yeah. If Steelers training camp is one of the coolest experiences. It is out in Latrobe and at St. Vincent College, and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, and it is so pretty. It's like Field of Dreams for football. It's just like there's nothing around, and then you have this little college with these football fields, and everybody's in the stands, and it is almost like a religious experience for Steelers fans. It is so much fun. Kevin says too predictable on both ways by the end of the year. Yeah, they did get too predictable, but is that going to help? Is that going to change any? Is it that's one thing that really bothers me is I don't think anything is going to change. I don't think they learned their lessons, and the way that the offense just fell apart. It just was bad. It was just ridiculous. The whole thing that went down with Russell Wilson, and apparently he wasn't allowed to make changes or something like that. Like, this is a veteran. This is a Hall of Famer. What are you doing telling him you're not allowed to make audibles or whatever? And maybe that was all on Russell Wilson. Maybe Russell Wilson just decided to quote unquote go in business for himself. I don't know. But either way, it didn't work. But what really didn't work, what really broke it, was George Pickens being hurt. And they went from one good receiver to 0 good receivers. And it basically broke the offense. And that was all the fault of Omar Khan. He screwed it. It's like, okay. And he corrected this time by DK Metcalf. Okay, congratulations. You solved last year's problem. Here, but you also created a problem by not having a damn quarterback. Whatever the plan was, and I don't think this was the plan. I think the plan was Justin Fields. And as I mentioned with the salary cap, people saying, "Oh, how can you pay him $20 million a year?" $20 million for a quarterback is nothing. It's chump change. And you decided that wasn't enough? Come on. That was just a really bad look. So I'm guessing Justin Fields was option A, Sam Darnold was option B, and then now Aaron Rodgers is option C, and now we're in this situation where we don't even know whether he wants to be here or he's going to be here, or we're guessing he's going to be here. Who knows? But it's either way, it's such a bad look, and it makes the Steelers look so bad and so dumb. And whether you say, oh, it doesn't matter whether Aaron Rodgers is here or not. Yeah, it kind of does matter, because that's your most important position. Say, oh, it really doesn't matter. Oh, because in 2026 we're going to get a quarterback. Who cares about 2026? Look at the calendar. It's 2025. What are we going to do this year? Now, when you say, let's say that Aaron Rodgers is done. Let's say he doesn't want, it doesn't work out with Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't come. And you say, oh my God, now we're rolling with Mason. And most likely they would get some quarterback in early rounds. I hope it's not the first round, but still they could get Jackson Dart, or God knows who knows what they would do. And you think, oh my God, like we would be a laughing stock if they got if they ended up with Mason Rudolph as a quarterback. People would laugh at us, but you know what? Let them laugh. I got two words for you. Here, I know another team that was a laughing stock for, they lost Russell Wilson, ironically. They lost their quarterback and they decided, you know what? We're going with Geno Smith. And that was the Seattle Seahawks. And I know I laughed. I said, what the heck are these people doing? You're going with Geno Smith, the career backup? Oh my God. And it turns out the dude balled out like crazy, and he ended up being good. So you know what? Maybe Mason Rudolph can be another Geno Smith. Kevin says they'd laugh and we'd still finish 9-8. We're finishing 9-8 no matter what. We're finishing 9. It's one of those things in the universe where no matter what happens, they're going to finish 9-8. Becky says, what about Tomlin? Will he be gone if they don't get to the playoffs? He won't be gone because he has a large contract, and they won't pay him and another coach to coach. So he'll be here as long as he has that big contract. Now, I think his contract is up in like 2 years or something like that, or a year or two or something like that. Then we could talk about what happens. But Tomlin's not going anywhere. I don't, as much as people don't want him around. Hi, Darren. I know you don't want to. Darren's been screaming for Tomlin to be fired for a while now, but it's not happening. It's just not going to happen. It's 3 years. Thanks, Kevin. 3 years we have to deal with Tomlin. So yeah, he ain't going anywhere. I mean, he makes like 17-18 million a year. So they're not paying him 17-18 million a year to do nothing, and another coach like 10-15 whatever however much. I mean, that's just not happening. So as much as you don't want Tomlin, he's going to be around. The quarterback that what about the wide receiver complaining about the Browns only won because of the snow? Yeah. That's George Pickens, and that is a whole other subject. The dude is immature like crazy. It makes me laugh when people say, oh, maybe he'll become elite. Maybe he'll, not be such an immature brat, and maybe he'll grow up or something like that. Folks, if it hasn't happened already, it's not going to happen. He is an entitled, coddled baby that has been coddled all his life because he has amazing talent. And he can get away with being an immature brat. He can get away with it because he has all this talent. So, most likely they're going to keep him, and they're going to have Pickens and DK Metcalf as your wide receivers, and that's a good wide receiver core, and I think that could work. And then after this season, then he'll be gone, and the Steelers will get a comp pick, a 3rd round pick in 2027, and that's fine. Now, if they could trade him for like a 2nd rounder this year, then they'll trade him, and they'll probably use that pick on a wide receiver or something like that, and we'll start the cycle all over again. But or you say, well, this is the year that Pickens is going to be elite. No, it's not happening. Or this is the year he's going to, be more mature. And here's another thing that that I have a theory on. People say, oh, Mike Tomlin is he could make these crazy people. He could make these crazy people play well. Look at Antonio Brown. Look at Le'Veon Bell. When they left the Steelers, they were wackos or whatever. It's like, I don't think that was Mike Tomlin that was keeping Antonio Brown sane. I think it was Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger, especially like in 2017, 2018, 2019, when he was still elite and playing at a Hall of Fame level and having amazing seasons with Antonio Brown, that's what was making Antonio Brown happy and keeping him in line. Not Tomlin. Because look at what happened when Ben left. Deontay Johnson. Did he keep him in line? No. Deontay Johnson was a mess in a clubhouse cancer. Look at George Pickens. Is he keeping him in line? No. George Pickens is an idiot that doesn't even show up to work on time. Becky says he has a lot of growing up to do. He has a lot of growing up to do, but he's never going to do it because it's the same thing his entire life. He gets away with this stuff because he's so talented. So there's no accountability. He never gets punished for being immature. It's not happening, folks. It's not happening. The best that can happen is Pickens realizes, hey, if I have a really good season, I could really get a huge contract next year because he's not getting it from the Steelers. So there's that's the only hope, is they keep him, the Steelers keep him, and he has a really good season because he realizes he can make a lot of money. That's it. That's our only hope. Hopefully he figures that out. Ben is the one that kept this team strong. The team has not been the same after Ben has left. And when you lose your star quarterback, it's a struggle to find the replacement. I think the Patriots finally got their replacement because it looks like Derek May or whatever his name is. It looks like the real deal. So they finally got their guy. But between Tom Brady and the new guy, it was rough for them. It's rough for the Steelers. We're almost as bad as the Browns when it comes to quarterbacks. Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Russell Wilson, Mason again, the return of Mason. So it's, and I keep hearing, well, wait till 2026. That's when we're going to get our quarterback. How do you know? How do you know that Arch Manning is going to be there, or that any of these quarterbacks are going to actually be any good? We're guessing it's going to be a good quarterback draft, because this one isn't. Not even Cam Ward. If Cam Ward came out a year ago, he would be like the 5th or 6th quarterback taken. He's not even that good. And Sanders is he's just hype. he's just hype. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, he saved the Steelers in 2023, and he could save him this year. It was very cute because he played the last, I believe, 3 games in 2023, and it was around, it was December, January, and I think at one of the games they played Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So it's cute. Yeah, won't you guide our team tonight? So we'll see. We'll see. All right, guys, I'm going to conclude this. Thank you to Becky. Thank you to Kevin. Thanks everybody for watching. I love this new thing that I can, while I'm doing this live, I can get comments and interact with people. I think that is the coolest thing. I appreciate everybody that took time to watch this. So thank you so much. And we'll see. It's going to be a very interesting next couple weeks. Draft is next week, and hopefully we get an end to this Aaron Rodgers saga. So we'll see. Did Pittsburgh fans even like him? No. Mason Rudolph was considered. He not even considered for the starting thing. He was a distant quarterback 3. He was a distant 3rd string quarterback behind Trubisky and Kenny Pickett. And then it wasn't until Kenny Pickett got hurt and Trubisky was horrible that they finally they had no choice but to go to Mason Rudolph, and Mason balled out. And he actually changed the whole team because they thought that it was the offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, that was the problem. And it turned out it was Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky that were the problem. Also, Matt Canada sucked. But Mason showed that you could actually do something in this offense, and hopefully he could do it again. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you.